What if I told you that ancient prophecies, written thousands of years ago, have already come true? That the oracles of Greece once predicted inventions, wars, and disasters that wouldn't happen for millennia. They saw the rise of empires, the fall of nations, even the invention of machines that could think. It sounds impossible, but the ancient world may have known far more than we give it credit for. Welcome to Pantheon, where myths and history collide. In this episode, we're uncovering the forgotten prophecies of ancient Greece, visions that eerily align with modern events, technology, and global crises. From the Oracle of Delphi to the cursed foresight of Cassandra, these weren't vague riddles, they were warnings. And maybe they weren't meant for them, they were meant for us. Let's start with a prophecy that seems ripped from a modern sci-fi script. Centuries before AI, before electricity, before the very idea of computers even existed, the Oracle of Delphi described thinking bronze servants that would obey human will. Now, most historians dismiss this as just a colorful piece of mythology, a flight of fancy. But here's the fascinating part. Ancient Greek engineers actually tried to build them. They called them automatons, mechanical beings crafted by gods and men alike. The god of invention, Hephaestus, was said to have built golden robots to serve him and guard Mount Olympus. One of the most famous automatons was Talos, a giant bronze man who protected the island of Crete. His story is chillingly detailed. His veins were described as being filled with molten metal instead of blood. To the Greeks, he was pure fiction, a terrifying monster from a myth. To us, looking back through the lens of modern technology, he looks suspiciously like a prototype. Fast forward thousands of years to today. We are surrounded by artificial intelligence, advanced robotics, and automated defense systems. The very things they once described as divine miracles are now built in factories and powered by electricity instead of godly fire. It makes you wonder, maybe those ancient prophecies weren't supernatural visions at all. Maybe they were an incredible form of foresight, glimpses of a world that was still thousands of years away, born from an intuition we've long forgotten. Perhaps the line between myth and blueprint is thinner than we think. Now, no story captures the profound tragedy of prophecy better than that of Cassandra. A princess of Troy, she was blessed by the god Apollo with the ability to see the future with perfect clarity. But when she rejected him, he twisted his gift into a terrible curse. No one would ever believe her. She predicted the Trojan horse, the burning of her city, the deaths of kings, her own demise. And every single word came true. Her friends and family saw her as mad, a harbinger of doom. But her curse wasn't madness. It was clarity in a world that refuses to listen. And that's what makes Cassandra's story so powerful and timeless. Because every generation, every society, has its own Cassandras. They are the scientists, the thinkers, the activists, and the whistleblowers who see disaster looming on the horizon, but are dismissed as alarmists or fearmongers until it's far too late. Think about the warnings we've heard in our own lifetimes, about climate change, about pandemics, about economic collapses and wars. The patterns are eerily similar. The ancient curse lives on, not through the wrath of a vengeful god, but through our own human arrogance and our tendency to choose comforting lies over inconvenient truths. The real question isn't whether prophecy exists. It's whether we as a species will ever learn to listen before history is forced to repeat itself. Cassandra's tragedy is a warning etched in time, a lesson we are still struggling to learn. At the very height of Greek civilization, as its influence spread across the known world, the Oracle at Delphi gave one of its final, and perhaps most cryptic prophecies. The great gods shall fall when men rise to the heavens. For centuries, scholars and theologians interpreted this as a prediction of the end of paganism and the rise of Christianity. The old gods would be abandoned as a new faith took hold. But what if it meant something else entirely? What if the phrase men rising to the heavens wasn't meant to be spiritual, but literal? Think about it. Airplanes, rockets, satellites. For thousands of years across nearly every culture, the sky was the exclusive domain of the gods. Only they could soar through the clouds, look down upon the world, and wield the power of the heavens. It was the ultimate separation between mortal and divine. Now, Humans walk among the stars. Our machines crisscross the globe in hours, and our satellites watch over the earth just as the gods were once believed to do. The prophecy came true, just not in the way anyone expected. Zeus's domain is no longer unreachable. We have conquered the very thing that once defined divinity, the sky itself. And in doing so, we've fundamentally changed our place in the universe. Perhaps that's the most divine act of all, humanity, through its own ingenuity and relentless curiosity, becoming what it once worshipped. While Delphi was the most famous, there were hundreds of other oracles scattered across ancient Greece, each claiming a unique connection to the divine. Not all of their prophecies spoke in grand, poetic riddles. Some fragments that have survived are surprisingly specific, describing floods, massive fires, and a world that would be swallowed by metal and glass. It's easy to dismiss these as generic predictions of disaster, but the details can be haunting. One particularly strange fragment describes voices carried through air without breath. Imagine hearing that 2,000 years ago. It's a chillingly accurate image that sounds a lot like radio, or maybe even the disembodied voices of the internet, carried across the globe in an instant. Were these just lucky guesses? Or was something else at play? The Greeks had a different way of thinking about this. They believed prophecy wasn't necessarily magic. For them, it was a form of memory, the faint echo of fate, whispering what has already been written into the fabric of time. The future, in their view, was a pattern, and those with a deep enough intuition could sense its shape, much like you can sense an approaching storm by the change in the air. Maybe they were right. Maybe prophecy isn't about seeing the future for the first time. Maybe it's about remembering it. The oracles are long gone, their temples in ruins, but their visions remain, buried in ancient myths, carved into weathered stone, and perhaps still unfolding right before our very eyes. The gods of Olympus may be silent now, but if you listen closely, their words still speak to us through time, echoing into our modern world. If you want to uncover more secrets hidden in myth and history, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to Pantheon, because next time we'll explore the astonishing truth behind divine miracles, and you won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching.